morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to look at the first official reveals from Temporal Forces. Now, one thing important to note, these are from Temporal Forces, they are from the English version of the game. And most of the time here I would go, hey, it's the first English reveals, but they're not actually English. They're French and German. But they are from the English version of the game. So, yeah. I'm going to let you guys figure that one out. It's fine for the minute. We've got these cards. They're awesome. And it's helping to show us the kind of fun things we can expect when this set drops in March. And I, for one, am extremely excited about it. So let's go and start off having a look at Koraidon and Miraidon. And I have made absolutely no secret of the fact that I consider both of these cards to be absolutely phenomenal. Now, up until now, I have been struggling to decide whether I'm Team Ancient or Team Future. There is no more decision. Look, I like the Miraidon. The Miraidon is awesome. It lets you do 40 damage and search your deck for 2 basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon. It's really good energy acceleration, but also Future has tricks to boost you up to do enough damage, and you will be taking little KOs while accelerating energy. It's great. It's awesome. It's going to make Future decks brilliant. But Koraidon, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it just does 30 damage for each of your ancient Pokemon in play. And yes, that does include Koraidon. So, in theory here, for just 2 energy, you can be hitting 180 damage. And like Professor Sada got a new card in Paradox Rift. Professor Sada's Vitality. And that lets you attach an extra energy. So it's not like we're trying particularly hard here to get that energy on. And in theory, turn 1 going second, and look, you're probably going to have some support Pokemon, alright? So you're not actually going to be hitting 180 very much. You're going to have a couple of slots that are dedicated to your support Pokemon. I understand that. But make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, this is still awesome. These reveals, I should say, come from Nintendo-Connect.d. Shout out to them for getting these reveals. But if you want some more very playable cards, PokemonMillennium.net have gone and revealed a couple of ace specs. Weirdly, also Rockruff. Why did they get 2 ace specs and a Rockruff? Don't know. The fact that they revealed this Rockruff is weird to me. I don't understand why the Rockruff goes in there. They would have got a very exciting reveal if it was just these 2 ace specs. I don't understand why there is also a Rockruff that has gone and been revealed. But there has been. Although, as a side note, the Rockruff actually comes from the Koraidon and Miraidon decks over in Japan, which only furthers my theory that we are getting all of those cards, including the new Miraidon and Koraidon. They have not yet been confirmed for Temporal Forces, but we kind of are at that stage where they've not been confirmed for Temporal Forces, but at this stage it would be just a gigantic upset if for whatever reason we didn't get them. So no, they're not confirmed, but this is a card that originally came around in those decks, which means those decks are almost certainly in there. So, you know, do your own figuring out of that, but I feel pretty gosh darned confident. So, with all of those borne in mind, what about these ace specs? Now, we've got Master Ball, and Master Ball is just a reprint of the old Master Ball. It's fine. It's awesome, alright? But it's not really going to see any play, because it just lets you search for any Pokemon. And that's not a bad thing, right? A card that let you search for any Pokemon would be busted, and it would be a 4 of in every deck. My point is that it's an ace spec. And remember, the thing about ace specs is you can only play 1 of any kind of ace spec in your deck. So if you play Master Ball, that is the only ace spec you're allowed to play in your entire deck. And for that reason, no one's going to play it. It's not that it's not a good card. if it was the only ace spec available, if this was just a card that said search your deck for any Pokemon, you can only have one of this card in your deck, it would be an absolute one-off staple in every single deck in the format, guaranteed for the entire time it was out. But it means you can't play any other ace spec, and one thing they've shown us here is Prime Catcher. And Prime Catcher is old school Pokemon Catcher, by which I mean an item card that lets you gust one of your opponent's Pokemon with no downside, no coin flip, no nothing. And that is one of the very, 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 very best cards in the game, even bearing in mind it's an ace spec that is limited to one of any ace spec in your deck. This is still going to be great. And basically the deal with Prime Catcher is this. It is the default. I am not saying every single deck is going to play Prime Catcher as their ace spec, because anyone that's been playing this game long enough and anyone that played when ace specs were around in the past will know that there are, of course, going to be exceptions. There will be some decks out there that don't play it. What I am saying is you have to have a reason. If you are playing this, yeah, that's the default. If you are not playing this, it has got to be because you have a specific reason to not be playing this. All right? It is that gosh darned good. So, yeah, shout out to PokemonMillennium.net for getting really very good reveals. Now, we do have a couple of EXs which have gone and been revealed. For Rigorath was shown off on community.bizafans.d. Not a website with which I'm terribly familiar, but they got for Rigorath. Yeah! For Rigorath! And we knew Rigorath EX was almost certainly coming, but now we get to see for Rigorath EX, and that is amazing. And we got ourselves a nice ability here that prevents all damage done by attacks from basic Pokemon. So you just get that full protection from basic Pokemon, which is kind of fun. And free energy 160 plus 30 to one of your opponent's bench, which is fine. It's all right. Basically, that attack is good enough. So what that basically means is, if you're against a deck that's relying on basic Pokemon, this attack is fine. You'll block them, and then you'll whittle them down with this attack, and that'll be lovely. If the ability isn't blocking your opponent's deck, the attack isn't quite going to be good enough, so it's as simple as that. Find yourself against a bunch of basic EXs, and this is going to be like ridiculously good to the point of borderline broken. Find yourself against almost any other deck, and it's going to be a little bit disappointing. Not the only new EX we saw, though, because we've also seen Torterra EX. This was revealed by jpgames.d, and as a side note, they also showed off the Okacheke Turtwig, and I love the Okacheke Turtwig. I mean, I've told you many, many times that Okacheke is my favourite artist working in the Pokemon TCG, but this Turtwig, it's one of those ones where it's great, but it's even particularly good for an Okacheke card. Like, I'm going to love every Okacheke card they ever do. They're my favourite artist. But even for an Okacheke card, this is particularly good. And it's got an ability which says it takes 20 less from attacks, which actually is not terrible. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's, like, broken, but for an ability on an evolving basic, yeah. Problem is, I don't like Torterra EX. Free energy, 50 damage, heal 50 is no good on a stage 2. And single energy, 30 for each of your grass Pokemon in play, not on a stage 2. And like I just told you a minute ago for Koraidon, I really liked 30 damage for each ancient Pokemon in play. But it's because I can go second and use it turn 1 with Professor Sada's Vitality to get this attacking really quickly. That's very different to a stage 2. Sure, the 1 energy is nice, but it is a darn sight easier to get an extra energy on Koraidon than it is to get Torterra up to a stage 2. And also, Torterra, turn 1, going second, is impossible. So, yeah, sorry, it's not quite good enough. But hey, maybe you just want to talk about some beautiful cards. Well, I've got you, ladies and gentlemen, because we've had the reveal of the Walking Wake. The special illustration rare Walking Wake. Now, this is the French version showed off by PokerCardX over on Twitter. The German version was revealed as well, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that showing you one European version of the same card is probably enough for one video. So that's all I'm going to show you. And look, Walking Wake is actually a really interesting card. It's one that I could absolutely see seeing just a whole bunch of play here. And what Walking Wake actually does is it's got an attack for 3 energy that does 120, plus an extra 120 if your opponent's active is affected by a special condition. Not terrible, and also very, very clearly designed to be comboed with Brute Bonnet, which is of course an ancient Pokemon which poisons both active Pokemon. Not a coincidence that both these cards, Walking Wake and Brute Bonnet, just happen to be ancient Pokemon. This is extremely deliberate. They are very clearly designed to be played together, so play them together. We also have an ability that says damage from this Pokemon's attacks is not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, which basically means if they're doing anything to try and block you here, Walking Wake can come along and be like, nah mate, there will be no blocking today. It's kind of lovely. Now, we have seen the combo of Minccino and Cinccino that have been revealed by Milkamaluna over on Twitter. And look, the Shibuya artwork is lovely. And I'm a Gen 5 fanboy. And there were times in the past I played a lot of Cinccino. So I'm always going to love this, alright? This is one of those cards where I'm predisposed to being a huge fan. But it's actually kind of good. It does the Cinccino I'm talking about. It does 70 damage for each special energy attached to this Pokemon. Now, general rule, trying to get all this energy on to do enough damage, it's not going to work very much, alright? But very, very specifically, with the combination of Lugia, V-Star and Archeops, using that well-known combination to use Lugia V-Star's ability to get Archeops into play and then Archeops to accelerate 2 energy. But of course, Lugia will get 2 Archeops and then you're accelerating 4 energy. Yeah. Because 4 energy is 280, which is V-Stars and below, which is great. But if I then attach an energy from my hand, that's 350, which literally KOs anything. I think outside of this hyper-specific combo, it's going to end up being too awkward and you're never going to get all the special energy on and it's going to be a pain. But I think in this one super specific combo, it's actually really good. So yeah, I really like this Cinccino. I don't know if Lugia's still good. Maybe post-rotation, because at the moment, Lugia's not very good. This coming weekend, we've got Liverpool Regionals. It's been announced I'm on the commentary team. I am delighted. Very much looking forward to that. It's going to be an awesome event. But I'm not expecting any Lugia to do well there. Right now, Lugia isn't great. Maybe post-rotation, Lugia makes a comeback. And maybe Cinccino comes in here and is awesome. A man can dream, ladies and gentlemen. A man can dream. And then finally, we've got the reveal of Relicanth. And I personally like this just because we've got the awesome artwork which shows off the other Pokemon. I am a sucker for any artwork that shows a Pokemon in its natural environment surrounded by other Pokemon. It's lovely. But it's actually a really good card. It is a basic Pokemon that lets all of your Pokemon use attacks from their pre-evolutions. It's Shining Celebi. Or it is Shrine of Memories. Those cards, both of which saw a bunch of play in the past, yeah, they're really good. They saw play. And Shining Celebi was good. It had some partners. Shrine of Memories was really good because it had a bunch of good partners. I don't know what out there for Relicanth is perfect right now. But even if there's nothing you like right now, there's going to be more stuff in the future. Make no mistake about it. Relicanth is going to see some play at some point, and if it doesn't, it's just because we're not given the right Pokemon to pair it with. So there we go. Right, that's what you need to know. Those are the reveals, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards you're excited about. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Ray of Light, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.